always growing and always expanding on the Smoky Treat edition of the Cigar Snob Magazine podcast. And today, I think we have some comedy royalty we're going to share with you.
Oh, boy.
It's our first cigar with Mario Ramil. What's up, my friend?
Thank you guys.
What's going on, brother?
Dude. Thank you guys for having me.
Welcome to Cigar Snob.
Absolutely.
Heavy duty in studio.
That was a personal visit.
Jasper and Chente, they got a little scared when the helicopter came down.
Yes.
But
No, and when he let go la melena, the hair, he just let that go. Chente was a little bit intimidated.
You got the horse jealous. Yeah.
We got two caballos here, two horses. So Mario Ramil, comedian, South Florida guy.
Yes.
Just first of all, since we are of the cigar ilk, tell us about the first cigar, because I have a theory, Mario, that we don't look for the cigar finds us. So tell us deep, right?
That was very.
Tell us about your first cigar,
deep. Dude. So I was thinking about this, and I gotta say I don't remember the specific first one, but I'm pretty sure it was probably a shitty gas station cigar.
That's fair.
And it probably got me nauseous. I remember getting, maybe it was like 7 or 8 years ago, and I don't know if it was like a celebration. I started like a business, right? And somebody brought over cigars, and it was like those cheap. I'm gonna go to the corner and get the gas station cigar. Y me dio mareo, bro. And I remember throwing up even, and I'm like, yo, fuck these cigars. I mean, can you curse?
Yeah. It's an adult show.
And I'm like, yo, I don't, I was never really into cigarettes.
right?
But if somebody had one, you're having a drink or whatever, maybe I'll. But so I'm pretty sure the first one was one of those shitty gas station ones, and then I didn't touch one again till around the pandemic. So this is what I was telling you guys earlier. So shout out to Davidoff, because I remember online, I was like, dude, remember everything was shut down.
Yeah.
Everything was just, and so I'm like, man, it would be really cool. So we're just figuring out things to do in the balcony, right? Like, you drink, you're hanging out, you're playing video games. And then and I'm like, man, it would be really cool if there was like a cigar service during the pandemic that are willing to
deliver.
come and just deliver. And I had wrote that, or I went live on Instagram or something. And then I don't know if you guys know one of the Guerra brothers, Eddie Guerra.
Yeah, of course.
And he reached out to me, and he was like, say less, bro, send me your address. And I was like, oh, really? So send the address, and like less than a week later, I get this beautiful, I think it was like the patriotic, I forgot which one specifically, but
The Camacho?
They started sending me like Camachos.
Well, the Camacho has a Liberty. Camacho
the
Liberty.
White, beautiful box. In fact, I kept it like in the podcast. So it's just beautiful. And but I wasn't a snob, if you will. And so, dude, me and my brother, we laugh about this all the time. We're smoking fucking $100 cigars like cigarettes. We're like, all right, fuck this. Next, what else we got in there? And so he sends me another box, and he's like, dude, only 3 people have gotten this box. It's you, Jay-Z, and Joe Rogan.
Get out.
And I was like, all right, I got like, what is it about these things?
I need to respect this just a little more.
I gotta respect this a little bit more. And so that kind of started the whole thing for me, where I started kind of finding some interest in it, because a cigar for me, like, I worked at the state attorney's office, right, for several years. A cigarette's fast. A cigarette's anxious. A cigarette is a lawyer outside before the trial. Fuck, I gotta get this in quick. And when I would see cigar smokers, like, they got time.
Yep.
If you're lighting one of these fuckers up, like, we're at least talking for half an hour, to an hour.
Yep.
And so that intrigued me as well, right? Like, especially during the pandemic, like everything stopped.
All we had was time.
All you had was time. So then that really sparked it for me. But I think what finally did me in was, once you're around some of these guys, and I think it was you that texted me about him, but Kike out there once you're around, like, I love anything artistry. If somebody could break down the artistry behind a yo-yo, I'm in. The color, why the string, how long the string has to be, like, whatever it is, I'm in. I love documentaries. I love anything like that. And once I started, around Eddie and Dylan and some of these guys, and then Kike, I met Kike, and I really saw how much art was behind a cigar. and they would sit there, and sometimes just even the way they lit it was magical, you know, and so that really just did it for me. I was like, this there's a culture here that I truly enjoy, and then of course it's tied to my personal roots. You know, my grandfather smoked cigars, you know, so but yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because we are based in South Florida, and we're lucky enough that literally we've got listeners all over the globe, all over the country, coast to coast, and around the world. That's what I like to tell people about Cigar Snob. But living in South Florida, you do get those guys who like Kike, who runs a humidor down here in
Smoke and Barrel.
Smoke and Barrel. Yeah,
Yeah, you had mentioned them twice. I was waiting for a pause so that I could shout them out. Yeah.
Well, they were Empire when I started going, and
That's
now
right.
they're really cool dudes out there, and Kike did this fucking trick. It was actually, I was kind of grossed out. I was like, pon la boca en el cigar. But he did this backwards thing and he puffed out, and I was like, ew. But I was in. I was like, yeah, whatever. If that's how he got me. But yeah. So it was out there. Yeah.
The greatest showman, Kike.
So good.
That's what
So
it is. The
good.
greatest
He's
cigar
so good.
showman. Well,
Such a good dude.
and that's what we always tell people. Wherever you live, go to the lounge. Maybe you'll run into a Kike.
Right.
Maybe if you live in Phoenix or you live
sure.
in Montreal,
Right.
or wherever, you'll run into that Kike out there. Or come down to South Florida. There's always room
Right.
for us.
Right,
So
right.
so
But wait, before we get off the cigar topic for a second, you came in
Yes.
with a cigar in hand.
I did. I think, it just out of respect, I brought my own, and,
That's-
I knew you guys were probably lit up. So I was like,
That was
Keep
a
up
little
with the
impressive.
boys.
Normally, guys walk in and they're like, all right, what are
you-
you giving me today?
yeah.
And
Yeah.
you showed up, bam, with a bullet
Yeah.
in the holster.
And it's not the prettiest right now, but I think it's like me. It has this dings
But that's
and
a
damages.
fantastic
But
cigar.
absolutely is the Don
Yeah,
Pepin. Yeah.
I think while I was impressed with you bringing one in,
Yeah.
I was not impressed with your humidification game.
Yeah.
That,
what do you know? Actually, this is straight from, and I don't want to say where, but it's straight from there into the pocket over here. So fuck that.
We'll just leave that.
Yeah, we'll leave it there.
I think you're taking a shot at me because I've never come in here with anything other than my hand out.
Really?
No, that wasn't a shot. I was just trying to say how impressed I am with this cat because he came in with cigar in
I
hand.
just threw it. I just threw it. in
Heavy
the pocket.
heavy duty, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but this is a good cigar.
But yeah, so you brought in the Don Pepin Garcia
Yes.
Serie JJ.
Yes.
And so I decided, since he brought in my father's, we're smoking my father as well.
It's only
love
right.
it. I
Cheers.
love these guys.
Cheers.
I love it.
Cheers.
El maestro, man, for sure.
That's right.
Yeah.
For sure. All right, so let's begin at the beginning.
Okay.
All right, comedy is always such a strange world because you guys are so. What we see is jovial and funny and wittiness. Where did it begin for you? Like when did you wake up one morning and say, you know what, this is me. This is what I like to do.
I don't think it happens like that. I think it's kind of like what you said about how the cigar finds you, as prolific as that was. I think it's the same with comedy. I really don't think I woke up and I was like, this is me. I think in a way life starts showing you like, well, you're not going to be a mathematician. And you're definitely not going to build rockets or save lives. So, hey, you can make your teacher laugh and somehow you passed. And hey, that girl thought you were cuter when you made her laugh. And in a way, life kind of starts getting out of the way and showing you like, this is an interesting road. I think what you do process is, oh, this could be a career. And so I did have that kind of moment where I'm like people get paid to do this shit, And of course, this was way before social media and all that. They had, comedy was kind of this. It was very like gate kept, like
Sure.
you had to the agent, and then you had to get in with the clubs, and in a way, there's been like a renaissance with social media and the way to get to the next thing with comedy. But just going back to what your question, like I think it just gradually happened. I think I just kind of it found me, and it's opened a lot of doors for me. Both like relationships and mentally, and like comedy in itself has always kind of helped get to the next thing, whether that's like a depressive episode or business or whatever it is, even relationships. If you can make somebody laugh, they instantly kind of feel like you might be there's some sort of connection there. If you can make somebody laugh, they kind of bring their guards down a little bit.
Yeah,
and you can make out with them. Yeah. And then you kiss them in the lips.
And that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, tongue or no tongue.
Well,
That's up to it's up to
There's
That's
a line.
at your
There's
discretion.
me running right by
Your
it.
discretion. Yes,
So,
yes.
but I think where you came from,
Yes.
your Cuban roots, because if you look at your characters, and then obviously, where can we find you on social media? First of all,
Well, I'm on all the platforms: TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, all that stuff. Mario Ramil comedy, and some of them it's Mario Ramil, Ramil. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So these characters that you have found, from these sketches,
Right.
the El Abuelo, the grandfather,
Yeah.
the Cuban doctor,
Right.
the guys at the coffee shop, the housewife. Are these like real people, or are these things you have seen? Like, who's your favorite?
There's always an element of Cigar really did what you guys said it was going to do, but it's all right. That's what we're here for. Look at that. Look at all that beauty right there. It's damaged, but it's still good, right? It's like me.
It's real. It's real.
It's damaged, but it's still good.
But dude, there's elements of there's truth to all of. I was talking about this the other day. It was funny enough. I always feel a little bit like an imposter if it comes from nothing. Like, if it's not rooted in some sort of truth, as cliche as that sounds, but it's almost like song lyrics, right? Like when I was writing music early on, I always tried to be like this Dylan, like when I was trying to be like, maybe I could create this story and, but it never felt real to me until you start kind of writing from truth.
Sure.
Even if you exaggerate a little bit, but if it's rooted in some sort of truth, I feel like you could really, dig into it. And so with characters, the same thing. Like for me, the Cuban doctor was a Cuban doctor I had when I was not exactly to that degree, but he was that guy. He was the receptionist. He was the doctor. He was the valet guy. He was, in fact, era cantante en Cuba. Like
Right.
he was a very well-rounded individual, and his name was Dr. Gil, and he was about 100 years old at the time. So I'm sure it's okay to talk about him now. And
Well, his son is an attorney, and no,
I'm sure
I have no
he probably
idea.
is, yeah. Mr. Hill, Gil Hill, and dude, it was that. It was that you would come in with like a rash or something, or your bone was sticking out of your knee, and he'd be like, "Tómate una patita ahí, Advil, and get the fuck out of here, stop being a pussy." And I just always thought that was so funny. So again, like all of these characters are rooted in some sort of truth. My mom is very much like my character that I do. The doctor was very much like that doctor. Abuelo exaggerates a little bit of how my grandfather was, but very close to it, And Abuelo has to probably be one of my favorites.
I think your Cuban dad at Disney was like spot on.
Yeah.
Spot on with most, at least my experiences at.
Again, from truth,
Yeah.
right? Like toma agua,
We're not buying a soda. There's a water fountain right
exactly, it's and what's beautiful about this is that you realize it's so many other people's truth too, and that's what's been so rewarding about comedy and being in a community like this, where like I would post a video just kind of like hey, I didn't really quite know how to order at that cafeteria because I got nervous because I don't dominate Spanish as well as I should. And then the video hits 2 million views because half of Miami relates to it, right? Because most of us are first generation,
Right.
So that's, so that's it.
I think you have merged, more than any comedian that I can remember, you have merged the cigar world and the comedy world. In other words, because somebody once told me that a cigar is a portable campfire.
Right.
And that's what comedy is. Comedy to me is the same thing. Is you can tell a joke anywhere. You can have a cigar just about anywhere. Tell us about, like, you had Arturo Fuente, you had David off at these clubs and stuff. This is the cigar guy's comedian here.
It certainly wasn't fully a marketing, scheme for me to kind of tie the two. But I did, however, early on, I started saying, man, I should associate the brand, right? Because I've always seen Ramil what I am, and kind of I've always thought that maybe it could branch out to something else, you know? So I've always said like with everything, you associate yourself with something of value, or, you know, they elevate the brand. So once I started learning more about cigars and then the association with like whiskeys and then what kind of people surround themselves with this kind of lifestyle, I was like, maybe, and I did thoroughly enjoy it. You know, I'm like, maybe this could be you know, maybe I could tie these things together. And it just kind of happened, you know, people around me started, it's interesting, my little crew and stuff like that, like, first is like somebody's like, man, I got this cigar for you or whatever, and then he got into cigars, and then my brother got into cigars, and then now they all smoke. Now, you know, everybody around me is now like, yo, let's meet at this lounge, or well, after a show, yo, let's go check out this place, whatever. And then what started happening, which is really cool, is some of these cigar brands started reaching out and coming out to shows, and or they'll send me box or come to the show with boxes.
Yeah,
you know, and that's fucking cool, you know. So yeah, I guess in a way, people did start.
So you had mentioned a situation. You're doing a show in Tampa,
yeah,
and on one side of the room you had Fuente, and on the other side of the room you had Davidoff, right?
Did,
so that was the story that Jimmy was referring to.
Yeah.
So do you ever think about? Because I don't know how far down the journey in cigars you are. Because you said you probably started like around 8 years ago or so, or no, you said during the pandemic.
Yeah.
So not that long ago. So do you even look into cigar lounges when you're traveling to a city, and do you think, oh, I should stop there, or not?
We did it. We have, like, I went to some in Atlanta when we did something out there, and it's always cool to see how different a lot of these could be, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, I do now. And what happens sometimes too, some of them reach out to us if they know we're coming to the city or something, and say, hey, stop by here or check out our stuff, you know? So that's been fun too.
Do you remember where you went in Atlanta? Am I putting you on the spot?
We went to Red Phone Booth.
Oh, okay,
cool. That was the first time. Yeah. And then, in fact, someone had said they were thinking of coming to Miami.
Yeah.
And then we went to another little small one. I don't remember the name, but it was interesting because it's small, but those are usually like the gems, right? Where it's like everybody's suited up. Everybody has a good 401k in there. You know, everybody's like credit score over, 800, and some of those are the best, you know, and then the most attentive, you know. And that's when you really connect with like the owner or whatever, when they could sit down and you'll see it. They almost wanna, they always want to tell their story, you know, and I'm there for it. I love to hear all that shit. But yeah.
So what does do you tour? You do, I mean, other than, I know you go up to Tampa a lot,
right,
and Atlanta. So this is all Southeast talk. Do you tour outside of the Southeast?
We're starting to. Yeah, again, I don't come from comedy. I didn't get into it with any knowledge of what the process is. I've learned along the way and met a few, good people. But I didn't have a manager. I didn't have an agent. I didn't have anybody to kind of point me in the right direction. So I've taken pointers from people. I've peeped game and shit, and I've realized that, for me, it's like setting up a route, right? So this is like my third or fourth time doing Tampa. Now I have a relationship with Tampa, right? So now I could book that show. Now I kind of work it into my schedule where I know at least once or twice a year I'm going to hit Tampa. Okay, so let's go up a little further north, let's go to Jacksonville, let's go to Atlanta, let's go to whatever. So I'm kind of setting up a route now. So now this is officially the first year where I have a feel like we just got back from New York, just set up a relationship there. Now I have a connection there and kind of another stop on the route, and then we're doing LA at the end of the year, So now in between that, I'll add a show in Atlanta, I'll add a show here, I'll add a show there. Yeah. So by the time in a year or two, now I have a full tour.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And how does because you're as far as we can see, right? I've not been to one of your shows. Yeah, but as far as we can...
No, fuck you. Yeah. But no, it's all right. No. I'm kidding. It's okay. It's all right.
Give me that cigar back.
Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah. But how well does the Cubanness of your... Because your social media account is very Cuban-American.
Very much so, yeah.
And so how does that translate to the act? Because, so a lot of people will be listening to this all over the country.
Right.
And if they want you to combine like are they going to be able to really kind of relate to the show even though they're not Cuban American or how does that relate?
That's a good question. I've always felt like the best comedy talks about something very personal, but still you're able to make it general enough where a Jamaican person can relate, a Asian person can relate.
Yep.
And once you do the digging and the research, you realize we all had the same mom kind of growing up. We all had a similar doctor. We all had. So I think I've been a little more conscious of not just tying it to Cuban as much as just this is my experience. And I hope that I generalize it enough in a way where, or bring you into the story enough where even if there's a few words that go over your head, you still get the general kind of perspective,
context.
right?
Yeah.
So I have been seeing a change in, especially when I did a series called Cuban 101, where I'm just kind of explaining, some of our sign languages in the Cuban
peculiarities,
culture, right? And so I had Italians reach out to me like, we do the same thing with the and all that, and so I started noticing a little bit of a different demo in the shows.
Wow.
And again, that's all. At the same time, that's a bit of strategy as well. I'm saying I do want to expand,
of course,
and obviously rooted in who I am and my personal things.
Still being true to yourself,
still being true, but man, I want everybody out there. I want everybody to see these things,
I'm not Jewish, but I Jerry Seinfeld comedy, obviously, right?
Yeah.
So that's I was curious about
George
that.
Lopez did it, right? Like we're not Mexican, I think. But man, he was one of the first ones that I remember, like a putazo. I don't know what a putazo was, right? But you hit my head, que putazo. Whatever. Now you understand. A putazo must be a Mexican way of saying,
Viandazo.
Exactly. So there's been plenty of comics that have been able to kind of transcend like that, and that's kind of what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, it's funny because you said, we have all had that same dad or the same. Like when I was a little kid, I didn't think my dad could speak, but my dad could speak with just pursing his lips.
Right.
If you were doing something wrong, it'd be like, you know what I mean? And that was it. I always wondered, do you at this stage get nervous? Do you at this stage, because I've seen you throw out the first pitch at a baseball game.
Yeah, shout out to the Marlins.
I read that you spoke at your elementary school.
Yes.
Is that more nervous than maybe going on stage? Because that's kind of who you are now.
There's always a sense of nervousness when there's some sort of expectation, right? Going back to my elementary school, I should probably know more vocabulary words than I did when I was there, right? So there's an expectation there. I spoke at Miami-Dade College. I never went to college, so there's an expectation there. When you're doing shows, these people got dressed and paid tickets, their hard-earned money to see your dumb ass tell dick jokes for an hour, so there is an expectation there, so I value this shit too much to not be nervous about it. You understand? I want people to walk away and go, man, I feel like I've either learned something or got in a better mood, or there's some sort of equity there's some sort of value that happened from sitting across from him or sitting at a show or talking at a function or something. Like I always want to set some sort of value in what I do for someone else, right? So yeah, I do get nervous. The nerves are always there. I thought they would get easier as you do more shows, but the truth is that life is a gamble. Stand-up is a gamble. Comedy is a gamble. Like you think the joke is funny here, and then you write it down. You go, this is killer, and then you try it, and someone just coughs, and you go, oh shit! Like there's nothing worse than a cough.
Is this on?
I'd rather you not fucking say anything than hear. You go, oh my god. Just like a fucking distant cough in a room, that's the worst.
How do you recover from that? Let's say you a joke killed in Atlanta.
Yeah.
And you got crickets somewhere else.
Yeah.
How do you recover from that?
Oh, dude, it happens. It's almost like a salesman, right? Like, how do you take a no? Like, dude, it's part of the job. Like,
Yeah.
if you're not willing to get those no's, you're never gonna get a yes. You know what I'm saying? So if you're not willing to eat shit, you know, and bomb a few times, and I've had shows when people are like, yo, this person's in the audience, so don't fuck up. And I'm like, oh, bitch, you can fucking tell me that after?
Yeah, thanks.
You know, and now you're up there with that, you know, so, you know, I think it's part of the job, and you have to learn to condition yourself to go, all right, I'll get back up. I'll try another one. Like, it didn't work. Man, it's happened plenty of times. It happened in New York. You know, you try something out and it doesn't stick, so you're like, okay, on to the next thing. Like, I got it. All right. Okay. You know, dust yourself off. Let's keep it going, you know?
Is comedy regional?
In what sense? What do you mean?
In the sense that maybe something works in New York but doesn't work in Miami or something like that.
I mean, if you go super colloquial, where I'm talking about a certain spot in Hialeah or something, then yeah. But I if I approach it with the sense, if I approach it with kind of the idea that, okay, let me not go hyper colloquial and say this bakery. Let me just say, man, when you're in these grocery stores, or when you're in these bodega, or when you're getting coffee, make it that much more where maybe if you're not from Miami, or if you're not even from America, you'd be like, oh yeah, when I go get coffee, that happens to me. You know what I'm saying?
But if you talk about a ventanita, they have no clue what you're talking about.
Maybe New York's not really, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, you have to, I'm learning to kind of approach it in that way, you know?
I want to go back to the first pitch, right?
First pitch. That's
so
right.
you went sidearm slider with that thing,
always
huh?
been side. Well, I respect it. Thank you, sir.
I was like, you better be careful. You're gonna pop an elbow.
This my fucking shoulder just got out
Tommy
of place.
John there, buddy.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. No, I've always thrown like that, and then I didn't realize.
By the way, I do too. I'm a sidearmer.
Like that.
Yeah,
I didn't know it was kind of cool. I just thought I threw kind of weird until, like, kind of in high school, people were like, "Dude, you throw sidearm," and I'm like, I thought that was so goofy of how to throw. I just felt comfortable throwing that way. And so I went at sidearm with the throw. Oh, it was dope. It was an honor to be invited to do that with the Marlins, team that I've watched since I was a kid, that meant so much to, my grandfather, my grandmother, huge baseball fanatics, as a good Cuban should be.
Shout out to fellow Ramirez.
Coño, lanza, extrae. That was the best. And even though, I mean, I got to be very honest, I'm not a sports guy.
Yeah.
But again, dude, you know what I was? And you guys might appreciate this. I wasn't into sports, but I was a card collector.
Get out. Okay.
Loved cards. Again, the texture, the color, why is this one worth more because he's dunking backwards than this one? Like, I just love the artistry of things, And so, But I've been a fan of the Marlins and what they meant to my family, and to have the organization reach out to us and say, hey, maybe it would be cool if he throws out the first pitch. I mean, man, talk about like some nerves, It's nerves.
I was about to say,
yeah.
did you practice? Were you nervous?
did. My uncle called me.
Hell yeah, you practice before you get out there.
You have to. You
don't want to be a meme.
You don't
want to
be Fauci out here, fucking almost. He just grounded the fucking
dribble
ball.
one up there.
Yeah, or 50 Cent too. Like, no, I wanted to make sure I got it down the pipe there. But no, my uncle was cool enough. Shout out to Mario Ramil, Sr. there.
Oh, I was going to say, wait a second.
He's my uncle.
He's shouting himself out?
Yeah. And no, he called me immediately. He's like, we have to go and practice. I was like, yeah,
you will represent the family well.
Yeah. You better fucking... And he would tell me too, he's like, throw it hard. Don't bitch. And do a little... He's like, throw it hard. And it was a little off... the center there, but we got it.
Hey man, it ended up working out, man.
Yes,
that's the amazing part. So what is, like, what do you want to do with this? In other words, do you want to be a movie star? Do you want to be have your own TV show? What's
a fair question. Yeah, what's next?
What do you want to do when you grow up?
When I'm asked that, or when people do the 5-year thing, it's good to have a plan, obviously, right? Like, and I think to a degree I kind of do. But I don't try to burden my... It's going to sound... But I honestly... Like, like when I went to New York, people were like, man, don't you want to do Madison Square Garden one day? I'm like, if it happens, I don't want to fall short of an expectation I've given myself and then be disappointed.
Yeah.
If I get to the next thing, yeah, that's really cool, man. That's dope. And I thrive to keep expanding and growing. But to say things like, I'm going to headline Madison Square Garden one day by 36. And then now you're 37. You go, I'm a fucking loser, dude. I didn't, I've noticed in my own life, and again, this is just my opinion, but the more I do that, like, I want to be a movie star. That's next. And some people do, like maybe the fucking Rock does it, right? I mean, that works for him, obviously. But I feel the more I've done that in my life, and I've set some of that expectation, the more I've kind of been hard on myself when I don't reach it, So I'm in extra innings right now, man. I support my entire family with comedy. I've been on my own for almost a decade now. Just doing comedy. I pay for things with funny money, I say. So anything from that moment on that I've been able to quit my job, support my entire family, bring people along the journey with me, help people, bring people up. Anything outside of that, anything from that moment on is just the cherry on top. If I'm a movie star, that's great. If I end up on a show, even better. But I got to do what I wanted to do as a hobby, as a full-time, get paid for it, and support my family. I won.
Yeah, no kidding. Who is this role in a movie? Are you like Inigo Montoya with the "You Killed My Father, Prepare to Die"? What character are you playing in this movie?
I don't know, bro. As a comedian, like, I do like people like Jim Carrey or Robin Williams that were able to, like, because I think comedy's so observational that I feel like, and emotional, right? Like, you have to really always be in your head. Like, why was that funny? Are you lefty? Like, why did you grab that with your left? Are you sitting there weird? Is your right arm hurt? Like, constantly analyzing. So I think that really does add to when you're developing a character, right? So I love when these comedians take these serious roles and do like a serial killer, or they do like a
Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Great,
like, whoa,
great movie.
Yeah,
right. But serious role,
right.
Almost a romantic kind of,
Yeah, because the comedian he's never the bad guy, or she's never the love interest. You never get the girl as the comedian. You're always the best friend or something like that. So when you see them, I think it was it Out of Focus, the Robin Williams one, where he was like a bad, awful human being.
He did plenty. I think was it Mystic River? Or
he had the one with Pacino, Insomnia.
Insomnia.
Yeah,
that was a great film, and he was serious in that one. And so that would be something I'd be interested in. And of course, if a good comedy comes around, like, I'd love to try my chops at it, in film. And it is a goal in a way. I would love to dive into more of the on film stuff, but and something like that would be awesome. Some drama or something like that would be really cool. But I'm not exactly, I'm not going completely after it. I feel like through my relationships and through constantly exposing my comedy and kind of other aspects of myself, music and cigars and stuff like that, like, if it comes, it comes. It's meant to be, in a way.
Sounds like to me, my man is enjoying the journey,
right,
and not the destination, which is what
Jimmy.
we should all be doing.
I like that. I like that.
Enjoy the
like
journey.
That.
Well, I always tell the story about Rodney Dangerfield when he first did his first movie. I think it was Caddyshack. Right. He would do a joke, and when you can't laugh at the joke, right? And he would he was freaking out.
Because nobody was laughing.
Oh my God, they're not laughing. And Rodney, we can't laugh. We can't laugh. And it took him a minute. So I think that's always, it's always an interesting situation.
Was that really Rodney Dangerfield's first movie?
I want to say it was. His first big movie anyway. Yeah, Caddyshack.
Caddyshack?
Yeah.
Back to School is later.
Back to School was later.
Was later.
Yeah. And then literally he would say a joke.
Yeah.
Like, hey, it looks good on you.
Al Cervic.
Yeah.
See, he's another one. Like, he
started late.
No, he started early. And then it did nothing. And then he's like, fuck this. And he went, I think he was painting houses and shit. And he had a family, and he, I think it was into his 50s where it started kind of taking off for him again. So that's what I'm saying. Like, life is so unpredictable, and so, if I went by goals and all that shit, or expectations like that of meeting certain things. Like, I would have been an actor already out of high school. Like, that was the plan, you know, go to LA, do these things. And then I had a baby a few years out of high school, you know? So that completely
changed everything.
Changed things. I ended up working at the state attorney's office. I had this serious desk job and surrounded by attorneys and inmates. And it was like so opposite of what I, you know? So,
but tremendous source of comedy. Or did it not? No.
I mean, I guess it was in a way,
because there would be some characters there.
No, yeah, definitely probably took some mannerisms and shit from people, but it was just such a dark moment in my life that I don't even think I was really registering it as, man, I could turn this into something. Like, I was just kind of like in it.
That's really interesting because what was happening there, I think,
right?
You know, you were just kind of like making ends meet at that point, and you're scrambling,
right?
And when you're scrambling, there is no way for you to like see that thing that's in front of you, right? You couldn't even see a comedy career early on until you kind of settled a little bit. But when you're scrambling, it's hard, man.
It is hard. I mean, I always knew that wasn't my last stop, and I definitely worked to make that a reality. But yeah, when you're in it, it's not until you get out of it a little.
Yeah, in hindsight.
Right, where you kind of go, oh, okay, yeah, it was kind of... Man, remember when I, you know, worked that double and whatever? Like, yeah, it was kind of funny when I did that thing there in the cubicle, you know? But while you're in it, you're like, I'm going to fucking kill myself.
There's nothing funny here, yeah.
This is like, this sucks.
Before we let you go, and we appreciate you taking the time to come in the studio and hang out with us. What's Mario Ramil's perfect day? What's a good day for you?
I think a perfect day would definitely start with waking up with the kids in bed. You know what it is, bro? You know what it is that I live, it's going to sound again so cliche, but I do live perfect days, man. Like I like today, I had, like yesterday I had a perfect day, right? Like I wake up, my kids are healthy, they're in bed. My chick gets up, we make some coffee, watch some TV, answer some emails. Like I'm actively, you know, pursuing the next thing. Check comes in. You know, you look, you go, oh, yeah, that's nice. Your daughter wants to go outside to ride bike. Like, I've learned that the more I stop and go, man, this is where I wanted to be 5 years ago. The more I do that shit, that's why, and again, going back to like what you had said, like, going like, man, I want to be in movies, or I want to be in this, or I want to be that, whatever. What that kind of does for me is that it takes me out of really valuing the work you've done to be right where you're at right now.
Yep.
So for me, a perfect day is appreciating waking up in a good home with my family. I'm still in business. Family's healthy, everybody's good, money's in. Just being surrounded by that, man, because everything else is so superficial and so, I don't know. That would probably be my answer. Just kind of how I woke up yesterday.
Love it.
That's beautiful.
I love it.
Yeah.
Hey, man.
I mean, you have to appreciate the moment that you're in, right?
You do, man, because if you're constantly chasing the thing, it means it's running away from you. So you're never going to be present that way.
Yeah, but there has to be a way to like, all right, this is on the board up here.
Yeah, I mean, that's not to say you don't have
but then you can still enjoy what is happening right now.
You have to, man. I've done shows where I'm like, oh, but, you know, I could have sold more tickets, or I could have done this, or I could have... It's like, dude, the fact that 3 people came out to see you at all. You know what I'm saying? So appreciate... That's just what I mean. I don't want to get too...
No, that's right.
That's what I mean. You know
that's right, yeah, because those 3 people, they deserve your full attention.
100%.
Because they went out on a limb and paid to go to your show.
100%. 5 years ago, you didn't have 3 people.
Yeah. So if you cry about the 40 that didn't go,
exactly.
Coño, what happens to those 3?
Exactly.
Yeah.
100%. 100%.
We believe in that.
I love it. We believe in Mario Ramil.
That's right.
Mario Ramil Comedy on Instagram.
That's right.
On X,
That's
Facebook, All the good stuff.
All the good stuff. Mario Ramil comedy. And then we got some shows coming up.
Do people go to your website to see the upcoming dates, or just on social
I'm
media?
constantly posting the upcoming dates. Yeah, so right now you go on my on my Instagram and hit the link there on my bio, or you could just go to these websites. You go to Funny Bone Comedy Club Tampa and go straight there, or you could go to Off the Hook in Naples on their website and get tickets there. Yeah. Bring me a Stogie.
Yeah.
That wouldn't hurt, right?
I'll reach out. I'll reach out and get Rocky to.
What I got
because he's in Naples.
You know what I haven't been able to do yet, which I think that's when you made it. Well, I think I could kind of do it at the Improv, but like some of these like D.L. Hughley's a cigar guy. Some of these comics are cigar guy. They're able to smoke in the green rooms. That's. I think that's a go. Okay. Where you can just light one up and the manager to come in like, hey, what the fuck, you gonna set off the fucking fire alarms? Like, no, DL can do it. I can do it. Damn.
That's right.
That's right.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Thank you guys for having me.
Thanks for watching Cigar Snob on YouTube. If you enjoyed that, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. If you want to check out more of our content, go to the channel and you'll see mail time videos, podcasts, interviews with cigar insiders, and photo shoots with smoking hot models. And if you want even more Cigar Snob in your life, we will print a magazine and ship it straight to your house. It's a crazy idea, I know, but we're trying this out. Cigarsnob.com to do that. And otherwise, we'll see you later.